is it me, or there's this whole notion of we're not here to just pay bills and die, but nobody really gives you like the strategy to make that reality. We authors here tell, oh, just budget better, but when you're trying to find the math to make the math work, things like seeing another artist going on tour, another artist or another celebrity launching a product that you love and support, that you see another goal that you want to have to travel or whatever, you think that that notation of we ain't just here to pay bills and die, but your budget is showing it is needed to defy gravity of your goals. So the thing that I want to get into with this one is because I've been seeing so many of you talking about saving for Beyonce, saving for Asia, saving for Angels, saving for whatever the latest drop. And I think we talked about that on my sticky note challenge where you save $5,050 in 100 days. Yeah, it's a real thing. Go check that out. But the thing that I really want to talk about is that you can figure out the way to make it that you're not just paying bills and dying, but you're actually redefining your relationship and your systems when it comes to money. And I know, oh, my bad. I am Nadia. I am a financial planner and educator. I yap about money on this channel and other forms of social media, but I also help you roadmap your money when it comes to your financial planning, budgeting, and financial education. Let's get back into what I was saying. So the thing that has been keeping people in the chokehold is that, yeah, it's a lot of things going on in the economy, and you still want to have the sense of normacy, even though inflation and stagflation is going at your door. The thing that I want to talk about is that a while back, remember on this video that we talked about high yield savings accounts. But one of the things that I've been noticing is that has become a little bit of a buzzword is high yield savings account. But one of the ways to build a little bit of a thing that I have is having your experiences fit into your expenses is utilizing something called sinking funds. And like all of these posts that I have been seeing all over threads, social media, whatever, people are saving. The girls and the guys and everybody is saving. And this video right here is going to take what we talked about on high yield savings accounts and build a little bit differently when it comes to understanding what goes on into these different types of savings products. And they are called sinking funds. Sinking funds are usually just a little bit of taking from that high yield savings account and funneling that goal down into something else. You put intention into how you implement your money. Sinking funds is just that that bestie for resty to high yield savings accounts. High yield savings accounts, you know, I talked about the hierarchy of savings. It's like that girl because the APY, the annual percentage yield, pays you more as you store your money in these products over time longer. They're better than the regular savings accounts, but they allow you to have the money at that time versus you seeing that into a CD. A CD or certificate of deposit, it allows you to save, but it's locked in. But high yield savings accounts as well as money market accounts allows you to still withdraw over time. But the sinking funds element of this, what we're going to be talking about today, is going to be setting intentions with not only what you want to do, but how you can do it within your revenue. I did it on the first take. So I know that we've been talking about or been seeing on the show that people have been talking about buy now, pay later. You know, it is what it is. Do I need to do a video about that? Let me know in the wallet or the bank below, whatever, in the comment section. Let me know if I need to talk about that separately, which I am open to do so. Because yes, get a little interesting. So the thing when it comes to it, I want you to see your sinking fund like a paying for, but you're doing saving towards an intentional goal. Just like, you know, you're going to utilize buy now, pay later. You know, I'm going to get that and I'm going to pay this off and this, whatever. I want you to take that same energy and that vibe to the value of utilizing sinking funds to allow you to budget yourself within your budget and treat yourself. I'm sorry, I had to add it there. So we're not just going to be talking theory. We're going to be talking tactics on how to make this happen when it comes to your wallet. So I don't want to just say, oh, this is what a sinking fund is. No, Pookie. I want to tell you how to go through to find the money for that goal, how to utilize sinking funds, high yield savings accounts to save towards it, but then how to stay consistent, and then how you can even take a little less than $5 to start. Here's what I want to say right now. I have my glasses on, some serious. And so oftentimes when we see people talking about saving money, it's usually $500, $200, $300 or whatever. You're probably looking like when you see the stroll, like my budget doesn't budge that much. So the thing, but my tactic in this channel is that I want to show you how to make money moves within the money that you have. I know that we all want to be millionaires. I love Rachel, but I want us to understand the means that we have now and the systems that that's going to need to take us for where we are now to that millionaire or more money that we'll have later. So let's get into what sinking funds are. A sinking fund is literally a separate stash for your money. So say for instance, you have a high yield savings account that's designated towards your emergency fund. The sinking fund is taken a little step lower. It is for things that you're saving intentionally for a future expense. Oftentimes when I talk about budgeting, it's about doing a little bit of a forecast and seeing what's ahead so we can align where we are right now. So if it's not considered to be an emergency fund, but I want it to be a experience factor of it all. I don't want to say, oh, I hope I'll save. Let's rework and retwerk, no pun, that theory when it comes to saving and when it comes to saving where you are. But the money is set aside and on your radar, and you're putting the money a little along the way until you understand when that goal becomes reality. So for me, here are some of my sinking funds. Beyonce, because we already saw what I talked about in my last video where she talked about she probably going on tour. We already know it's Act 3, but my money need to go ahead and get prepared for B. The second one I have is Angel Wilson and Angel Reese. People keep dropping sneakers. Keep dropping merch. That's another sinking fund that I have. One that I have talked about previously is that I have a car fund. I have already paid off my car. If you want me to talk about how I did that, I actually gigged and did DoorDash, Uber Eats, all that to help pay it off a little bit quicker, and to fund my business. Gotta fund it. But when I say about car maintenance, here's what I mean. I look at the snapshot of how much my car costs to run. I don't have a car payment anymore. So what do I take that $440 that I used to take every month and utilize it to? I go and see how much it costs for my car taxes every year, how much it costs for maintenance. I get an idea from calling and going to my dealer to say, what is usually the time span on when I have to have certain maintenance happening, and then the cost for it. And then I also look at things such as insurance. If I'm having a tough month, I have that, or anything else that would happen for my car. Anything like warranties or whatever, I have that within the fund. So I understand the total cost of it, but then I break it down into that sinking fund and save along the way. Another thing is tech that I want. I already talked about needing a new camera. I already talked about needing a new laptop. So that is what it is. And housing costs. While I am renting for right now, I actually want to do a video about this separately. I have a lot of things within my house that have warranties and things like that and may have deductibles, but I have just like a just in case fund, some break out at the house. It happens. Another thing that I have, they're separate, but I'm putting it together. Trips and taxes. Hey, I'm a small business owner or a business owner, and I want to take trips. I want to start being very intentional when it comes to traveling in 2025 and 2026 and beyond. And the vibe is, I don't want it just to be stuck in a vibe session. I want us to understand the value and then build a value system in making that happen. So whenever those expenses hit, I'm not tripping because why? I already have it built in within my budget. The thing that I want to do is for you right now is to grab a pen, paper, note, app, or whatever, and jot down this right here. So you see the list of the sinking funds that I have. I actually built that from looking at how much my life costs and little buckets along the way. I want you to focus on 3 things that you want to focus over the next 6 to 12 months. Now, by each of them, I want you to list out the approximately cost, and then when are you going to need it? Whenever you figure out the cost and when you're going to need it, then you'll be able to understand this. And here's a little bit of a tier system that I have for it. It's the first thing to think about when organizing them is to your experience sinking fund, meaning birthdays, travel. I want to just be able to treat myself. I talked about this actually on a article that did very well. Another one is life happens fund. So this is like not necessarily your emergency fund, but car stuff, vet bills. I know the parents are going crazy, and the parents are going crazy. Appliance breakdowns, and even another bucket for special moment fun, like Beyonce, a luxury item, or even a big ass goal. The thing that I want you to think about when it comes to this is that I want you to be able to look to see what I want, how much my life costs with bills, how much does my life cost with expenses, and how much it life costs with experiences. And that's what I want you to take those understandings and focus and build a system for it. And the experiences goes into understanding your sinking funds. Sinking funds, like I said, is just a smaller way to save along the way for a goal that you have. And it allows you to start with $5, $10. After we're going to talk about how to find that money and how to structure that money, but it allows you to start with where you are to build towards the things you want to live through. So let's go into how to audit your wallet. You know, I was going to say this here on this channel, right? And negotiate your bills to actually find some money, to save money, to put into the sinking fund. And let's go more into that. Y'all already know that audit your wallet was going to be in the content, right? When it comes to this, the reason why I am so adamant about auditing your wallet is because whenever you're doing your budget, whenever you're looking at your savings goals and things like that, is that you have to audit where you are now to build a better GPS to where you want to go. That sounds like a video I did so long ago, but you're probably thinking, okay, I have all these goals. I wrote down those 3 things that you told me to look at over the next 6 to 12 months. And like, where is this money going to come from? So I'm glad that you asked, because we're going to talk about it, make the math. So the first thing is I want you to do a pull of your bank and credit card statements over the last 30 to 60 days. You thought I was going to say 3 months, right? But I want you to look to see, do you have any forgotten subscriptions? How much are you paying for certain bills? What bills that went up that you didn't know because you had it on auto draft because everybody told you so? Then I want you to look at the food delivery expenses. Is it going into that $200, $100, $300 territory? Because I've been seeing people talk about that too. But one of the things I love to use, I say, I know everything on my channel as of right now, Lord, I'm praying, is not sponsored. So one of the tools that I have been telling people to do audit of your wallet after you pull those bank statements is to go and utilize Rocket Money. Rocket Money is very good, and one of the tools that I talked about over on the blog about the apps that I will recommend. It combs through all of your bank statements, credit card statements, if you plug and play into the banks, and it will tell you about forgotten charges or things that you can cancel right on the app, and then you'll start getting that money back. Another tip that I might need to do another video about, I keep forgetting to, is negotiating your bills. Call them people. You pay them people, so you call them people. I want us to be more loyal to our wallets than we are to the whole world. Okay. And one of the things to do that is for you to pick up that phone and to call. Don't go into that chat box and say, oh, I need, you call those people. I want you to say, after you look through your bank statements and say, okay, for cable, I'm paying this much amount of money, or for auto insurance, I'm paying this amount of money. Are there any promos or discounts or any way that I could structure my bill to fit within this amount that I want to pay every month? You already looking at your budget to determine what you are paying. So what would be more comfortable for you to pay a different amount? So that's what you need to think about. I have a blog post talking about the money scripts on how to do that. And I even have a couple reels about me talking about my auto insurance where I save like $85 a month doing certain things. But the thing that I want you to keep in mind is whenever you lower that bill, don't let it ride. What you save, you save. Meaning if I'm saving $85 a month and I could take that $85 a month utilizing the 80/20 method that I talked about over on Reel before, and take that $85, I can split it to either 40 going towards a high yield savings account or 40 going towards paying down another bill or anything like that, a credit card. So you redirecting the savings straight to your sinking fund or even to save you fund whenever you're paying down debt. It's where you're able to budget not only for life, but also life experiences, because I want you to understand not only your cost of living, but your cost to live. Got it? Cool. So number 3 is for you to budget yourself into your budget. This is literally what it says, because most of the time you'll see people saying, oh, I can't do nothing. I can't do whatever. I can't have it, because we have to look to see what are some of the things you love to do, how much they cost, and how can we factor in after the bills come out. Maybe you do have only $10. Maybe you have $5. Finding something to experience within that price point is what's going to give you not neglection, but more so a notation on how to build more cycles when it comes to your money. And you already do the numbers when you do your budget. If not, you can look to me. I will help you with your money and how to do your budget, the formula. But also you need to get motivated around your relationship with money when it comes to time actually to live within your budget. Meaning this is what I have to spend. The budget ideal that I have is not necessarily, oh, you just need a budget just for the sake of budgeting. Budget shows you the plan that you have for your money due to how much you have and the pace in which you utilize it throughout the month. So we have to learn how to budget ourselves within there. We're not so adulting that we can't be within our money. So whatever it comes to doing this, it's not about, it's taking the guilt out to put yourself in. We already looked about what's coming in step 1. Step 2 is about finding your money leaks. So this one is about understanding the vibe check on what matters for you. So you're pulling together with intention, but not only just the way it vibes. And I talked about this on a video or so ago about knowing what it costs to experience not only life through your bills or whatever, but to everything else. So like I talked about, the thing that is very important is to understand your prioritization for your goals. You know me. I love Beyonce. That's top tier. I already know that I want to go to Act 3. So that is you setting the intention, like, this is what I want to do. This is when I want to understand it. New tires to my car. I already know I want to get tires in October. So we're going to talk about reverse engineering a little bit later. But if you already know what you want to do, the potential cost or estimate that you'll understand it will cost, you're able to reverse engineering, get backwards to see what does that fit with your money. We'll talk about it in a minute. Girls trip, everything, put it on paper. The thing about is not us to forecast the vibes, but to forecast the funds that make it run to get towards it. And let's go into step number 4. And you know this was coming, right? Number 4 is that high yield savings account setup. The reason why I want to call this out separately is because whenever you understand what it comes to setting up your high yield savings account for a sinking fund, you need to understand these are the couple of, I think it's 4. Yeah, 4 steps to doing so. The first thing is for you to know where your cash flow is. We look through your budget. We look through your expenses. We negotiate the bills and what you're saving. Now you're knowing how much can you move consistently into your sinking fund without messing up your essentials. $5, $25, $75. Start with where you are. And step number 2 is within putting up a separate or looking within your high yield savings account to open up how you can buffer it. The reason why I'm saying this is my favorite right now, and I've been talking about it, is Ally. Ally has this little team called savings buckets and boosters, but savings buckets where you can have a baseline high yield savings account, but then a little bit of a intentional bucket for things. Mine is already aired out. I told you. Beyonce, Asia, did I say experiences, car stuff, trips, and taxes. Simple as that. I want you to at least start with 1 and then build out as well as you build your formula. And even if you don't like Ally, and I'm going to tell you this now, please do not say that the APY is starting to fry gravity and go down. It's not their fault. It's the Federal Reserve and the economy. But now we're back. If you do not like Ally, you can utilize Marcus, Capital One, American Express. Those are solid too. But I think that right now that I'm recording this until the end of the 2025, the Ally has this thing where it's a promo for $100. If you sign up and do 3 auto transfers, you get $100. So you can open it up with $10, $20 and then do the active deposits or auto transfers and then get your money that way. So with step 3 within understanding and aligning your high yield savings accounts to build out your sinking funds, I want you to automate your transfers. If you figured out looking at your budget that this is how much I can do every paycheck, then I want you to go into that high yield savings account and automate that over into from checking to savings. The reason why is because you're setting intention, you're setting the way you're implementing, and you're going to see an increase over time. So if you figured out I can only do $10 into a high yield savings account, automate $10 every 15th or whatever date based upon that. That way it's done without you getting tempted and trying to move it back because it takes time for you to move it back. But anyway, number 4 is that whenever you get extra money, like a bonus, a windfall, somebody owe you some money, pay you back, you take that extra money and move it over into your sinking funds or even pay some debt and then your sinking funds. So you're figuring out which ways to handle your funds. And the next thing I want to tell you is to figure out where those sinking funds is going to live towards your goals. So the option 1 is that, I'm going to tell you to do what? High yield savings account and name it to claim it. So like me, Act 3 tour tickets and experiences, sneakers and product drops, or even a fall trip, which I am planning. Option 2 is for you to utilize a checking account. And as you know, checking accounts, unless it's Ally, I promise this is not Ally sponsored, do not pay an APY. So you're going to be paying fees, but you ain't getting paid back. So those are good though if you want to utilize a checking account. But be mindful. I don't want you, whenever you move that money into a checking account, that you're moving it right back. No, ma'am. We're not having that reverse. What's that called? Boomerang energy. The now option C is physical or digital cash envelopes. I talked about that on Good Morning America. That was cool. But I want you to keep this in mind. The APY is not defined to those envelopes that you will utilize or the boxes. So I would tell you to utilize option 1, but know your options and then figure out how to make it operate. When it comes to strategizing your sinking funds, you got a little wiggle room with it, wiggle with it. Now you have to figure out the time to strategize. Start with what's coming up in the next 3 to 6 months. Go back to that list that we talked about at the top. Those 3 things. I want you to say, what do I want to experience this year? What expenses trip me out before they even pop out? Car is mine. And what do I always wish I had money for? Those are 3 good questions when it comes to understanding not only the way that you structure sinking funds, but you structure your relationship with money. Then let's tier it out. Tier 1 could be, you already know what that would be, or a dental work that you may have, or even passport renewal. Please keep track of that because we know what's going on. Middle tier is that you need new tires in January, in June, in July, or even everyday treats, pedicure fund, or sneaker drop, or perfume. That's it for me. But the thing that it comes with doing that is that you're able to look and forecast for those things that you want to experience within your expenses. Then we're going to move it backwards. So let's just say for instance, that you want to go to this trip in November, just hypothetically speaking, and it's 6 months away. So do you want to say that's $300 and it's 6 months away, but you want to have it by a little bit earlier? You're going to sit there and reverse engineer that back. So that's $300 that you need in 6 months. You're going to break it up into say, I need to save $50 per month until that time, and I have the money to it. And another thing to call out is that you're going in November. Please be mindful of the deadlines or anything that may come whenever you need to pay your money. That's going to have you very intentional and specific on why, knowing not only what you're saving for, but how you need to save it, and then what you may need to move around when it comes to it. So if you don't have that 50, start with $10 a week or so, $50 a week or anything that you save from going to the store. I saved $5, but let me move that money over to that. It's about understanding the goal that you have, the date it's going to happen, and how much you have within your budget to actually reverse engineer to see how much you need to have to move backwards towards that goal. You're moonwalking into that goal with your money. So every dollar that you automate will allow you to, as a vote for your future self, to go ahead and experience that. Okay. And a thing that I want to call out is, I don't see a lot of people talking about this, is that, oh, you're saving $400, $500 a month towards this whatever, but when do you track it? When do you automated it, but when do you track it? Now that we know what your sinking fund categories are and you freed up that money, we need to make it stick. So you need to automate it. You already look within your bank account, look, see how much you can save. Go ahead and hit that little automation button to say every 2 weeks, every month, I'm going to move $20, $50, or $10 over into my high yield savings account. It could be weekly, bi-weekly, monthly, but into that separate account. So you out of sight, out of mind. But I don't want to call it that. Out of sight, going overnight. Then we're going to say that. But whatever you have it into that category and you name that fund, you're able to move it. Even if you got $5, $5 is better. It's better to save $5 or some because it will still grow your sum. If you're saving no money into a high yield savings account or anything, you're breaking the cycle. It takes literally, y'all, 10 minutes to open up a high yield savings account. And then say, I'm going to move $10 every month or $10 every paycheck. And that $10 is going to grow over time as long as you sit it there. I know that the APY keeps going down because things are going, I'm giving you heads up, they're going to keep going down this year. Actually, 2 more times. So that 10 minutes that you have to save $10 at least a month in a high yield savings account that is paying 3 to 4, maybe 2 to 3 by the time I record it, first you don't know that it's going to save money over time. It's still going to compound more than you saving none. So you look and say, I can only do 5, I can only do 10. You're going to automate that. It's a bill for your future self to experience things, to get your ass out of trouble, or to give you some freedom. Okay? Badness. So after you do the automation and pull it along away, the thing that I called out in that sticky note challenge video is that I want you to track your progress. You can use a spreadsheet, you can use a note app, you can use whatever, but I want you to track what you stack. Ooh, I like that. Track what you stack. And it's like a savings thermometer. You know, I can't say nothing. It's like a savings thermometer that allows you to see not only where you are currently, but where you are towards your goals. And the thing I want to keep in mind is that it's not about depriving yourself of anything. It's about understanding your data, determining your decision, and debriefing every so often to see where you are towards that decision. So that's how the 3D method. So it's the whole thing of you looking at your data, determining what you're going to be a decision, and then you want to debrief to see where you are. You're looking at the data along the way. You don't just check your checking account when you're checking, check coming in or you're checking out. You have to understand to look at one. When you see these people talking about multiple checking accounts, savings accounts and stuff, understanding what you do with one before you go and get some more. If you understand what's going on with one checking account, you'll be able to figure out what funds and how things need to run when I add on another checking account. Or if I start with one high yield savings account to have a sinking fund, that's cool. Understand what is it going to take to run and how does it flow within your funds before you go adding on multiple ones. I want you to focus on one before you grow your thing. That's the thing that I keep seeing people talking about, the seven multiple streams of income. Understand what's going on with one before you're going to add in some more. I'm sorry I started to do that. Oh my God. Anyway, understand what's going on with one before you go adding more to the pot. That's what I want to say. So this, like I said, it's not about depriving yourself, but it's about deciding what does the future look like for you? What does freedom look like for you? And figuring out that system that works within the money that you have now for the experience that you want to have later. Got it. So I hope that this video allowed you to see how sinking funds and high yield savings accounts are not just a buzzword, but how to build it within your money system. So the whole notation is saying, like I talked about at the top of this video, is that we're not just here to pay bills and die, but nobody really defines what systems that looks like to make that reality. So let's recap what it looks like to build out your sinking fund trifecta, if a way. So I want you to think about the 3 goals that you want to accomplish between the next 6 to 12 months. Then I want you to go and look into your budget and determine, what am I paying for when it comes to bills? Can I call on people and get it lowered? Or can I cut some expenses and curve them to whatever you're saving from those, you're saving towards a high yield savings account? Then whenever you negotiated those bills down, you'll be able to budget yourself more into your budget. Then whenever you take those 3 goals, and I want you to pocket them within a high yield savings account. I love Ally for their their savings buckets. But whenever you pick those 3, you pull them down into naming to claim it within your sinking fund. So it's not about just saving, but it's about being intentional, implementing against the data that you have, the decisions that you do, and then debriefing and checking in every so often. If you do not check in, you can't measure what you don't track. So if you know that you want to budget something or you're saving towards something and you don't check in, you don't clock in, lock in, how you gonna know if you're close to that goal? Okay, let's go into closing this video out. Sinking funds are more about living your life fully versus making sure a bill is paid on the 15th. It's about auditing your wallet, negotiating bills, but also budgeting yourself within your budget. I have been very adamant about adding that to my content and to my cadence when it talks about money. Is that for a long time, especially not only the pandemic and what's going on right now, but beyond that people haven't found themselves, the whole sacrifice part when it comes to money is often talked about. But a lot of the times we don't hear about those systems. So this video was intentionally built to show you the intention on not only looking to see where you can save, looking to see how you can save, but naming the savings that you wanted to do. So we take the data for understanding what we have been spending, what we could curve back or do anything or negotiate, and then saying this is what I can save towards pay down debt, anything like that. It's about utilizing products to make your goals position to be actually realized. High yield savings account with buckets or sinking funds and automating your savings, even if it's $5 or $10, allows you to set the intention and implement it within your budget so you're not too much stressed out or stretch out when it comes to your budget. So I wrote a blog post talking about this I was down in it's down in the wallet. or the bank, whichever. It's down in my description bar, talking about more context on what this video is about. But also, if you need my services to make you show where you can find your dough, get one of my Making the Math Budget Done For You services. It's actually 3 versions of it, which it allows you to, if you need me to just look at your budget and give you feedback, cool. But if you need me to actually do your budget, I can do that as well. But if you need me to go through and have a powwow with you, that is an option too. Don't forget to not only like this video, to comment, share this video, and give me a follow, not only on here, but all of my other social media handles. And if you need more help with budgeting, you can go ahead and subscribe to my From Fumbled to Funded newsletter. And you're going to get your choice of actually now 4 freebies by clicking to see what you really need to learn when it comes to your money. And I drop weekly newsletters every Thursday straight to your inbox, talking about what's going on, not only in the economy, but your personal economy, and how to make your money go from fumbled to funded, and freedom to do what you want to do. And also, my bad, before we go, I had to ask you this. In the bank, I got it right, below, let me know, what are those 3 things that we talked about that you wrote in your notes app, that you wrote down on your pen and pad, or that you typed out to your friend, that you want to accomplish this year? So we got a little bit of time. We at the midway part of the year. Literally, July is the midway part of the year. So what are those 3 things you want or you will accomplish this year when it comes to your savings goals, sinking funds, savings goals, whichever? Let me know what the 3 goals you have for this year, the plan to actually save for them, and to position them to become accomplished. So thank you for following me. Thank you for watching. Stay funded. That's it.